Email us today for a free catalog to browse all of our traps and snares, baits and lures, and much more. Get all of your trapping and predation control needs by emailing to info@NorthAmericanTrapper.com for your free catalog. Proven products equals proven conservation.
Friday night, and we just rolled in from the New York convention. You can see there's some remnants of ice there, and it's melting out. I'm gonna bring my bucket in. I'll show you what that ice is from here in a couple seconds, but I wanted to show some of my awesome finds at the convention. Got some Oneida number 4s. That's a really nice one right there, a New House number 4. Lidditz, PA. I actually lived in Lidditz back in the day. In the off season from playing baseball, a couple years, I lived in Lidditz, right up the road from where they used to make these. But got a couple. That one's in really good condition. There's one right there. Got some other ones. Some really good stuff. I found somebody has Darren Freeburrow's stuff, and I got a Woods Dog, a Field Vixen, and a Red Fox Gland. Darren Freeborough passed away, probably getting close to 10 years now. Really, really great guy. He did the animalistic stuff, and I filmed him probably 3 or 4 times for the TV show, as well as for his own videos, and I saw them and I had to buy them. The guy had a stock. Herb Centerling was a huge supporter of my father. My father was a huge supporter of his. Actually, my dad would only use his cable restraints here in Pennsylvania. I bought Dakota Line a couple years ago, and the first the very first one off the presses that I put in the retail package I gave to my father, and it's on his shed wall. He didn't even use them. He was using Herb's. So Herb has this cable call, TS Trapline. Todd puts that out. So I told Herb I would use that. I bought one of them off of him. I'd use that this year. Bob Roberts, I was in his booth all weekend. He had a bunch of Johnny stuff. I got this Indian River fox bait that Johnny put in the bottle. That's one of Bob's beaver lures. Kenny Peck brought me this. This is actually called Stinger, and Johnny gave this to him back in the day. It was a new lure he's working on. He gave it to me and goes, I don't know what's in it. If you can figure it out, it's a new bait or lure. So I'm not going to try and figure it out, but that was nice of him to give me that. Stopped by Andrew Zizek. Andrew's a young kid from New York who's got a little trapping supply company, and I just couldn't pass up supporting him and buying his book, The Man Who Taught Me. It's a story about him growing up with his father, I believe, and it's just something that I wanted to buy and support him, and it'll remind me of my dad. And then Harold Cole gave me the old Indian bear oil remedy, and I bought a couple other ones off of him. Johnny, actually, I think I have it up in my fur, not I call it a fur shed, it's more like my out box up at my house, but Johnny gave me a big old quart of that probably 10-15 years ago, and it's wonderful in the wintertime. It's the bear oils render down the fat. The bear fat's render down into bear oil, and it really keeps your hands from cracking in the wintertime. And it's just a really good weekend. As I said, Harold Cole, Kenny Peck, Bob Roberts, Eddie Dakin was there, Johnny Thorpe's old partner. A lot of people stopped by. Jim Hansen stopped by. Just I had a really good time in New York. And then I got this from Bob Roberts. He had a bunch of Johnny's old lure that Johnny concocted and put in bottles. This is Weasel Gland, compounded by Johnny Thorpe. I got some Colorado cat paste, which I'm actually making as well. But I got some Cold River Call. This is Mink Gland, compounded by Johnny. Even got a little bit of his buck musk and a muskall, another one, and then all of these are different ones. There's another Cold River Call, but they're all going to be different down through there. And I actually bought them from him because I'm going to use those as giveaways for whether we do a sale or whatever. If maybe I'll do it if you buy a couple of our Johnny lures that we manufacture. We'll send you one of the old ones and you can compare it with it until they're gone. Now, I probably will keep a few of those for my own personal collection, which, yeah, I'll probably keep a couple of these. Definitely going to keep one of the deer lure buck musk, the pure northern white-tail buck musk, compounded by Johnny Thorpe. Johnny put that in a bottle at least 15 years ago. How cool is that? But the other thing that I got there that was one of the main reasons to go, as I showed you the ice, is we are set up. I got my grinder set up, the garbage can, and that is needed for when I process these weasels. As you can see, I've got a bunch of frozen weasels, and we're going to do this first. I'm going to take out the glands, just a little bit of gland right here. I'm going to take out the glands right here. I'll put them in a glass jar out of all of them. Even got some, that's a gray one. We got the brown one there. But this whole bucket, about halfway up, is full of weasels. There's probably, I don't know, 60, 70 weasels in there. And that's going to allow me to create some of the ingredients that are needed for the lures that I've been talking about. I don't have the ingredients to do all of Johnny's lures. That's part of the process right there. So I've got to do that, and we'll be grinding there. I'm not going to get out of here very early tonight. It's about 7:30. It'll be 8 o'clock before I get started. It'll take me a good hour to just cut the glands out of them, and then we'll work through there. And geez, I didn't even notice that. I guess they did some work when I was gone. These are actually all orders that'll be shipping out to Shields on Monday. Now, Labor Day, it's not going to ship out on Labor Day. It'll ship out on Tuesday, but I'll have them all boxed up. I make them, put them into boxes. I don't want them to close them up and tape them, but I have them tape the order on there, and then it comes down to my responsibility to make sure that everything's correct in the box, but looks like they got most of it done, if not all of it. Awesome. But that's, we've said it before, our products are being offered at Shields. Well, since the boxes aren't closed, I'll show you some of them. Here's our Yard Guard snares and our Easy Set rabbits. That's going to be, this wrapped up there is going to be some fish oil and salmon oil and crawfish oil. We've got the Redmond snare tools, more Redmond snare tools. Obviously, they're going to different stores. There, we've got baits, lures, but if you need anything, make sure you check Shields out if you live in the Midwest, and you can actually put your hands on it before you buy it. But I'm going to get working on those weasels. I'm going to be here a while, but pretty cool weekend. Got some wall hangers. Got some Darren Freeborough stuff. Got a book. Got some old bear oil, which is going to keep my hands good. And I got a bunch of, like I said and showed you, just some really old school, all Johnny Thorpe lures that were bottled by him. And I will definitely keep a few of those, but we'll be making sure that we use some of them for giveaways for anybody else out there that wants to get their hands on one. But I think it's time to go do the weasels, and I'll probably get out of here about midnight tonight, but that's all right. We don't have anything else to do. Hunter's coming up tomorrow. He had golf today, and we'll spend a couple days together, but time to hit the weasels. Well, that took longer than I anticipated. It's actually about 11:30, and show you where I'm at. I got about half of them ground the first time. Now, we will grind them 2 more times until they're basically like minced. But I've already added the vodka. They'll go through and mince up better. I like it when it's a little wet. And then we have those all ready to be ground up. And we will do them tomorrow morning. I'm going to put them in the refrigerator so they don't go bad. I doubt they would anyway, since I've got the entrails out of them. But that's a good start to being able to tincture some weasel. I got a little bit of glands. There was about 50, 60 weasels there. A little bit of glands. We're grinding the meat. The reason we're grinding the meat, that has a value in and of itself, because anybody who's ever caught a weasel or a mink, you know, those type of animals have that smell through their whole body, and you can actually tincture out and use that stuff, and that's what we're doing. That's why we have them being ground up, and the glands over there are already being tinctured. So it's pretty cool. I didn't take the hair with the glands. I cleaned them up. That's actually why it took a lot longer. I'll show you here. I got them in a 4-ounce jar. Got them in a 4-ounce jar with our Everclear vodka. But you can see out of all them weasels, that's all the glands that I got. Probably about 60, 70 weasels. And I took about as much as I could around that back side, and we're tincturing that out. We will tincture that probably, those glands, as fresh as they are. Probably tincture it 2, maybe 3 times to get the full effect, and then grind the glands up, and that'll make a nice paste to add to Johnny's lures that call for it. So I'm exhausted. I've been up since 8 o'clock. I was at the New York convention, as I told you earlier, till about 2:30, 3 o'clock. I drove home, been here for about 5.5 hours, and show you my goodies. Again, gonna hang them on the wall. We got Darren Freebarrel stuff. This Kenny Peck gave me that. Smells actually pretty good. I don't know what's in it. I'll figure it out maybe. The bear oil and all of Johnny's stuff that actually a lot of you are going to have the opportunity to get, whether it's a giveaway or a little contest or something of that nature. So we will be back here tomorrow, and we will finish up this process, and then I'll show you what that stuff looks like once I get it ground as fine as I want. We grind the whole weasel, as you saw. It doesn't matter. Grind it right up, and you get all of that essence in there. And I'm going to go home and relax and get a shower and maybe get something to eat and be back here again tomorrow. Back in the warehouse this morning, and been here about 2 hours, and I've got that's probably, we're going to do it one more time through the smallest grinder, but we've got it ground up to that. I got all the weasels in that bucket. We're grinding them again for the second time, and we'll grind them a third time with the smaller nozzle. But I come in here this morning, this whole room smells like weasel. And I wore this sweatshirt here yesterday, and I went into the local convenience store to grab a sandwich on my way to breakfast. And I was standing there, and there was a couple people next to me, and they were they didn't know if it was me or what it was they were smelling, but it was something that they weren't used to, you can say that. And I actually kind of turned around and walked down the one aisle waiting for my sandwich. I was kind of, ooh, yeah, you know what? I can actually smell that weasel. So that stuff is marinating and permeating into my clothing, but we're getting there. I probably got about another hour or two, probably 2 hours. It's going to take an hour to do that, and then I'll run it through again, but it's coming along, and we'll put it in our glass jars. I don't really have enough glass jars. I'm going to get some more today. I'll probably go up to the farm store or the Big Lots or something and grab some, but it just cracks me up. You're out in public sometimes and you don't realize probably how bad you stink, but I'm going to get that finished, and we'll come back and show you again once we move on to the third smallest grinding, and then it'll be basically minced weasel that will tincture, and that's better for the tincturing process because everything that is in that weasel is finely ground, and that's going to be able to draw into the alcohol and create a nice weasel musk for us to use in some of Johnny's lures. Before I start here, like I said, the first time we ground them last night was the big holes, basically 3 big holes, and that's what we ground them with first. The second one is about half this size, and then the third one is going to be the really small holes where that will mince it out through. So that's basically the 3 grinding processes on these weasels. I had about 50 weasels. It's literally gonna probably take me 8 to 10 hours combined to actually do this process, just the grinding process. So it's something that doesn't go quickly, but you want to do it right. And if you're out there grinding any glands or you're doing any of your own grinding, don't just rush through it, because at the end of the day, if you're tincturing it out and things of that nature, the more time you spend in this first process, the better the tincture that you're going to get. So we're going to move on and hopefully get some more of this done. Got our weasel done, and you can see that it's just a minced product. It's all minced up, and that's exactly what we want. That way, when we add the Everclear to it, it's just going to draw out of every bit of that to that host. And I mean, you can see it's just minced up, and we're ready to go. So let me get a thing here to put it in the bottles or jars, and we're going to take about that. 1, 2, 3. Now we need more than that. We'll take 4. And we'll go about a little bit more, 4.5. All right, so that's our weasel. Actually, that's a little full. We're gonna pour just a little bit out, because that's really concentrated. About half, and then we're gonna add the Everclear to it. And that, I know it's a little cloudy right now and milky, but what's going to happen is that's all going to settle. It's going to coagulate and marinate. I'll periodically just shake it up, just like that. And that's going to tincture in there nicely. What we'll do in 3 months after shaking it, I'll shake it at least once or twice a week. But in about 3 months, we will drain off the tincture, and then we'll pour more vodka back in and tincture it out again, because it's going to have enough to do that. But it's just pretty cool. We've got one there. I've only got 3 jars. I'm going to have to, as I said earlier, head over to Big Lots or somewhere and get some more canning jars, cork canning jars, which will allow me to tincture all this out, because I'm going to tincture it all. And I want to get that done today. I want to make sure that I'm getting this all tinctured. That's about half. That'll be good. We'll pour some more Everclear in right to the top. That actually gets basically all that out of there. Put the lid on and shake it up. And that's going to tincture. That's going to tincture. That's going to tincture. We're going to fill them all. I'm going to go buy some more, get them all set up. First thing I want to do is go get a marker and write on this Weasel, so I know exactly what it is, like I do on everything else. Because when you get all that different stuff like I have here, when you have all that stuff in glass jars and whatever, you better have it labeled correctly, or you're going to be in trouble. But anyway, I got Hunter out here doing some work. How you making out, buddy?
Doing good. Just unwrapping these burger
Ground
meats.
Angus burger.
Yeah, making some mountain man out of it.
Yep, I'm gonna make some mountain man. Look at you. You know what we're doing.
Well, you told me before.
I know, but you don't pay attention to anything else I tell you. Except golf, right?
Yeah.
How's golf going?
It's going good.
Yeah, how many matches have you had?
I think we've had like 5. We have 4 left. We got 2 coming up next week, and then we have 2 the following weekend, and then
you run for states again.
Yeah, and playoffs start.
You gonna win states this year?
We'll see. It's not a guarantee, but if I get back, I would like to.
Yeah, well, your game's looking pretty good, buddy.
Thanks.
I'll be there cheering you on. But anyway, got the boy involved today. He's doing a little work, earning his dinner. But I'm gonna run to get some more canning jars. There's so much to do. As you can see, he's doing that with the Angus, the ground meat for the mountain man part of that. I've still got all that fur I got on the ground. I went to the New York State Convention as I started this video, and gets behind. Got to get stuff done. We've got all these Shields packages that need to be gone through and looked at by me. I got some snares that need to be made, some cable restraints, some different things, and I still got those pallets back there. Actually, there's one cool thing I'll mention. I'm gonna actually tincture this out too. I probably should grind that up once I clean my grinder. This is actually wild catnip. It's wild catnip. I got that when I was in South Dakota. John Hopple, the president of the South Dakota Trappers Association, gave me a bunch of wild catnip, and I'm gonna actually tincture out that catnip because one of Johnny's formulas that I don't have the ingredients for calls for wild catnip, pure tincture, and he's got it wrote down how to do it, and I'm going to use the wild catnip. It was kind of ironic. I was talking to him on the phone, and he had seen some of the stuff we were doing on this Thorpe Lure stuff, and I said, yeah, I got to get some catnip. And he's like, well, I can get you catnip. I got it growing all over out here where I live. And I was like, I'll pick it up. So he's got me 2 nice little bushels of the wild catnip. That's the Coyote scat that will be making the territory. That's a part of the territory. I got to make that. I got to make a lot of different things. I think we're Labor Day weekend here. We're not going to do much barbecuing. We're going to be in the warehouse. But good job, buddy.
Thank you.
But the weasel gland, weasels, tincture, the smell of the wild is going to be upon us soon. But I will be back in here again tomorrow. We're going to finish up some things, but that's the weasel process. I got about probably, I'd say I'm going to probably get about 12 quart out of it. So I am pretty psyched about that. That'll be enough to make a few batches, and we'll have to get some more weasels as time goes on. But as always, we wish everybody out there the best. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, and we will see you back in here tomorrow. The brand is so much bigger than myself or anybody involved with what we're doing. It's the tradition of, you know, it's that woodsmanship that these kids and even adults can learn just by being out there. That's what we're trying to do. Trying to get people involved, trying to get people to feel that. And every time you go out there with them, you're experiencing that outdoors through them. You know, we're showing the simplicity of things, and we're trying to debunk a lot of those myths that you know, maybe scares people away from doing it at times, thinking that, oh, it's just too hard, there's too much into it. No, it's pretty easy, and we're going to show you how easy it is, and you're going to be able to go out and do it.
Get started trapping those problem animals and nest raiders today. Become the steward of your own land or lease. Visit NorthAmericanTrapper.com.